All right. This is not a delight. I already said this in a previous video, but I have to say it because it makes the most sense. Look, there are people who loved All In for the length it had. That was 6 hours, not counting the kickoff, which was what? 6.5, near 7 hours? No, 7.5 to 7 hours. Not everyone likes it. There are a lot of people who do not like the length of this show. They didn't like it. Even with 3 o'clock, it was 6 hours. People were tired. That's 6 long ass hours. Not talking about the people in the arena or people watching. That's another thing entirely. You can just switch it off or record it. But legitimately, people at the arena stuck there for 6 straight ass hours. Not counting if they stayed before that. And that's 7 to nearly 7.5. Because remember, it should be 7.5. Because a lot of those people had to get to their seats early. Some people were there for 7.5 hours. They got there 30 minutes early or an hour early. That's 8 hours. 8 fucking hours people had to be there. So I'm making it very clear. The length was not something everyone liked, even if it started at 3. But the show was not bad. I want to make it very clear. The show was not 100% bad. They did clean up a lot of what needed to be done. They got Hangman done. They did several storylines. They set up things that's going forward, hopefully. So this is all right. But this is where it gets interesting. Listen to my words. All In is no different than WrestleMania. This is the signature show. The next night, or in this case, days after, is their day after WrestleMania. Because it used to traditionally be on a Sunday. Raw was Monday. And it was usually a reset. A reset for the entire year. Yes, they'll still carry certain things going forward, but it was a reset. A reset that the company needed. And this, I'm going to tell you right now, didn't feel like a fucking reset. This didn't feel like a reset. This feels like it feels like a total continuation where you need to reset people and reset storylines. And we don't got them all here. Okay. Let's go for the matches. Then we're going to do the stuff in the back and in the ring. Kyle Fletcher versus Giordano. I believe that's his name. From CMLL. Supposed to be one of the best wrestlers from CMLL. Yeah, he was not bad. But this is AEW. Where the best don't get very good storylines. Who come from another company or Japanese or Spanish wrestlers. They don't give them proper storylines. They just make them do straight ass matches, which hurts them. Hurts them. I don't care what anybody says. They're giving off great matches. They're giving off bangers. People want more than just bangers. They want stories. And even though these guys come from CMLL, you can't tell me they can't have at least a storyline in AEW when they come over. They can build one in CMLL with a wrestler that's from AEW, or a former wrestler that was known in AEW, and could have built something up to make these guys and girls mean something, and they're not doing it. All they're giving us is straight wrestling, and when you see this match and it's over, I'm like, I felt nothing. It's not because of the match quality. The match quality here with Kyle Fletcher was fine. But it should be built. Yes, Kyle Fletcher's made it very clear. He's making his mission to make... Let me give it to you like this. This wouldn't be happening if Adam Cole was injured. Let's make it very clear. Adam didn't get injured, you would not see the storyline. You would not see it. It's as simple as that. You would not see a storyline with Fletcher. You would not see a storyline with Dustin Rhodes. You wouldn't. And he made it very clear it's his mission to make Dustin suffer from taking away the TNT title. Fine. It's alright. Since it's a spur in the moment thing like this, it's understandable that it's going to be choppy. It's going to be understandable until it gets good legs for Dustin next week. I believe or this Saturday on Collision, he will be on there. He's going to talk. I'd rather see him on Dynamite because that's a show that has more people watching. I'd rather see him skip to the next week and let him talk, but they're not going to do that, so this is what we get. Next, we got an 8-man tag. Josh and Hecanero. I believe Hecasedo. Sorry, Hecasedo. Another guy who's supposed to be like the man with 1,000 holds feels like nothing. Nothing. I don't know if they give him any segments that he can talk. It's not about him talking Spanish. You got Don Callis that can be his mouthpiece. I don't even know if they do anything for him. I don't know if he's working for CMLL and AEW at the same time, which is fine. But if he's working AEW, give him some fucking storyline and more character. And we get the Bucks, who now, I will say, the continuation, this is one of the things that need to be continued. Unless they just wanted them to go away for a couple months and come back, they didn't do that here. They're now making the Bucks go from here on a downward spiral, which most people are going to probably say, you know what, this is how they're going to reset the Bucks to become faces, because they have to become down and out heels. Basically have nothing. But then you get Jet Speed, Bandito, and Brody King going against them. The heels won because now they're supposed to have this alliance with Don Callis, but they're not joining the Don Callis family. They're supposed to have alliance with it. I can understand it. I'm not going to shit on it right now because this is supposed to be a hard reset for them. Well, not a hard reset, but they're no longer be EVPs. They're now just regular Bucks. And now the question is going to be, what are they going to book them as? My feeling is there's a downward spiral that's going to turn them face eventually. Don't want to see that. It's going to be the question how they book it. This is what we got. This makes no sense, the next one. The 100K Fatal 4-Way. Why does Tony every single time do money? Look, there's nothing wrong with using cash, but it's supposed to be a rare occurrence when a promoter lets something like this happen. Once every couple of years would make it wise, because you want to make this type of match special. We get it every, 4 or 5 months? Easily. When was the last time we had it? A $400,000 match, which was about 4 months ago or 5 months ago. It's stupid to do these types of matches because it just doesn't feel important. This should be about a next title match for Mercedes Moné. It should be then to do something with her. No, this is about making sure they got money instead of setting something up for Mercedes and her next opponent. Queen Amanala, Tekla, I believe that's her name, Tekla. You got Chris and you got Willow. What do we got here? Tekla wins, and due to the fact that now she's going to be working with Sky Blue and if you look to All In and you see Julia Hart, of course, you got Sky Blue injecting herself when she shouldn't have been doing it. But you get this. And now Tekla is going to be working with Sky Blue and Julia Hart. The question's going to be, can they make this female faction work? Because it looks like they're trying to make a female faction. You got 2 established wrestlers with someone who just came in. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's going to count on how they book this. Because, of course, Julia's going to be the leader. But how do they book it? This is what's going forward. This is something new. Something they booked. Hopefully, it can work. I don't know. Next. A match. Which wasn't a match. We got a jobber, don't even remember his name, versus Okada. And why does Don have the international and the continental titles around his shoulders? Why? Why does making my eyes itch? Next to my allergies messing with me, is making my eyes itch. Why are they still carting around 3 titles? So 2 titles should have been taken away and disappeared. No, I did hear the rumors. Everybody said, yo, didn't you hear? They're still keeping it supposed to be defended. That makes no sense. Why are you going to have the same thing that happened before with Eddie Kingston had 3 titles he had to defend. He had to defend those titles because they were generally unified. Anytime when something went wrong, someone was losing, and the title would be gone. If this makes any sense to you guys, if you remember what happened with Eddie, which I hope he does come back soon. But when you look at the situation, it's stupid. I do not want to see Don Callis with those two titles. They should be debunked. They're wasted. And I'm sure you're going to say, well, that's what they are. They're debunked. No, because they already said those titles may still be defended. So how does that work? Does that mean Okada's going to still have the Continental title and he's got to defend it, along with the International title, he's got to defend that, and then the Unified title, he has to defend? That doesn't make any sense. This was dumb. They need to get rid of those titles. But this wasn't about the match. This was about Swerve being called out by Okada because the Bucks lost EVP positions. He said, "You hurt my friends. You deserve what you get, bitch." And then we get Swerve coming out and he makes it very clear. Yeah, I did what I did. What are you going to do, bitch? And Don has to grab him and take him to the back. Of course, this feels like, well, this can go in a couple of ways. One, Okada obviously is going to be into a feud with Ken. Well, not without Kenny there, because Kenny is injured, along with Mia Shirakawa, because as you will hear when I talk about Toni Storm and her breaking her hand, Kenny's out as well. So he's not going to be messing with Kenny anymore. So now they stuck Swerve with him. The question is going to be, does that mean Swerve is going after the Unified title, or is he going after the Continental or International Championship? Because they made it very clear those titles are still supposed to be relevant, which make no damn sense. And my eyes are itching because it's making me itching. If you guys know when you got something that's driving you nuts, and someone says, "This is making my head hurt," it's making my eyes itch. It's stupid. Moving on. The final match, which made Why? I don't understand the 6-man tag. What was the point of the 6-man tag? You could have done a segment, and it would have been more effective than this damn tag. Because we still got Moxley on the roster when he should go away. He should be going. But now they're saying Moxley is not right because of his loss. That's dumb. He should be allowed to take a break away from AEW to help, because he's been there too long. Moxley's overexposed for a very long time. More than a year and a half. Moxley has been exposed. He was still there. What happened with the scrum? What happened with Kenny? What happened with he's been there for so long, constantly. He needs a break. But they're not doing it. Now they're trying to go with an angle, a continuation of him, where he's supposedly off. And it sounds like they're trying to make him go insane, or they're trying to turn him face just like the Bucks, which is wrong. He should just go away. And then you have Hangman Page, which I will talk about his segment in a minute. But this should have not happened. If you wanted to make this important for Darby Allin, why did you have to have the champ there? You could have just left this and let Darby talk to do a segment in the ring. Because he went to Mount Everest, he came back and he screwed over Moxley. And even if Moxley has to stay there, why did Hangman Page needed to be involved? It made no sense. Now, let's get to the backstage stuff and the packages as well as the in-ring work. In the back with Nick Wayne, knowing that he got rid of Christian and now went from the patriarchy to matriarchy, because now Nick's mom is the one supposed to be in charge. I don't know if this is going to work. It's going to depend on how she talks and how she can make herself as a manager mean something. Kip did a good job talking, so did Nick. But Mama Wayne is going to be the big question. Can she play a role as the matriarch? That's going to be a big question. Next, the MVP segment. Let's make it very clear. Him begging for competition, I didn't care about. because we've been having that for a while. It was MJF talking about Hangman Page. Seeing Bobby get pissed off when he saw MJF say, I'm the best in the world, he's going, he couldn't stand that. So still, they're going with the story that MJF is going to inch his way to the championship, and eventually Bobby's going to turn on him, and then they're going to have their feud in their subsequent match where Bobby's going to try and go after the world title. That's fine. And I'm fine with that. In fact, I'm glad they're still showing it. Can they drag it out? Yeah, they could. Let's hope it's not too badly dragged out, but let's hope it's been built correctly between Hangman and, well, when you look at MJF dealing with Mark Briscoe, and Mark making very clear that he's not done with MJF, and hearing, and understand this is reported, that MJF wanted to specifically work with Mark, which is a good thing for MJF to get more experience with someone who's been in a certain position for quite a while in ROH when he was there with his brother Jay. But this is good to see Mark getting a shine finally when his brother Jay died. You waited almost a year. You could have done something with him. I'm not saying to give him total advantages after his brother died. That would not sit well with a lot of people. At least 6 to 8 or a year after his brother died, 6 months at least, then you could do something. You could have pushed him, but they never did. They never pushed him other than what was on ROH. And now he has his program with MJF that feels like it's a year late. Now, it doesn't mean it could go bad, but that's how it feels. Next, let me give it to you like this. When you see FTR, who didn't show up, that screwed over Adam Copeland, which was gone for 4 months, and we get this segment where he's face to face with Hathaway, and Hathaway tells him, you will be fired if you come near FTR after what you did at All In with Spike. And then we get, next to that long, very well done segment of him making it very clear, I'm coming after you, FTR, I'm going to destroy you. He takes out Hathaway. I don't know how they're going to write this, because if he goes near FTR at any point, he'll be fired. The only option I see is either he gets other people to screw at FTR, or he keeps destroying by spearing Hathaway. When he can't come near them, he'll constantly spear and hurt Hathaway, which will make FTR come after him. Because the way it goes, FTR cannot be approached by Adam Copeland. But there's nothing about FTR coming to him. If they come to him and come at him, that might be a loophole. And that's what I think they're going to go with. And the question is, how long until Christian shows up to back him up? He did mention him, but that's going to be the big question. The final segment that I'm going to talk about will be Hangman Page. I'm going to tell you this. I liked it. I did like it. He made it very clear. It's not about me deserving it. It's about you deserving it. It's about all of you deserving what you wanted. You wanted a champion that you can trust that's going to do the job. And after everything that I went through, I thank a whole bunch of people. He thanked everyone. He thanked Darby. He thanked Orange. He thanked Will, who was out. And then even Swerve. And he made it very clear. He said with Swerve, I don't know what he did was for himself, for AEW or me, but it doesn't really matter. He says thank you. And that was something that needed to be done. But I feel like, as anyone has seen my Gump Goodness video, I still kind of wish it had not been done now. I kind of wish it was done maybe 6 months to a year from now. But this is what they got now. It was alright. And I didn't mind it. But here's the thing. I'm like, I'm like this. We get a reset for most things. But then we get continuations that don't make any sense. Moxley should be gone, taking a break. He should not be there. Now, Toni Storm, and I am doing this now. Toni Storm, her segment was good. Seeing her with Athena was good. And I want to see that. But what about Mercedes? There's no continuation for Mercedes or setup for a hard reset for Mercedes. She's gone now. And I did enjoy when Toni Storm said, if you tried something funny, I was going to eat you alive, and darling, you were delicious. Yeah, if you had not seen All In, and you see Mercedes get her taco eaten going, take a look, you will see it there. Everyone was going crazy. But Mercedes should be having a next challenger. We didn't get that. There's no hard reset there. It's just like it was before. A continuation where she doesn't have any challengers. Now, when it comes to Kyle Fletcher, this is a new thing, and it's going forward because of Dustin, and there is no more Adam Cole. He is out until he can recover from his concussion, if he can this time. But this just feels like they're not setting things up. Now, mind you, they can still try in the next couple of weeks to actually do a hard reset. And reset a lot of people. Do something with Sammy Guevara. Do something with Daniel Garcia. Do something with Mark Briscoe. If the story where Mark Briscoe working with MJF is going to be more. Or is that over? I don't know. I'm hoping they set this up correctly. But I don't know. I don't even know who the challenger is going to be for Hangman Page, particularly he's limping around. That could be a work, that could be a shoot. But they got to build something up for him going into Forbidden Door. I believe it's Forbidden Door. But it's just me. Peace.